Yeah, what is going on? Yeah, that is bizarre, dude. Like, what's going on, man? Like, there's one circling. You see that one circling over there? And then they go away. Yeah, like, what is happening? Yeah.
What I don't understand is how they're circling so close.
Yeah, what is going on there?
Behind it, it's disappeared.
Yeah, then it's gone.
That's bizarre. That's unbelievable. I've never.
What the heck is that, man? Yeah.
Hey there, welcome to Inspired Earth. I'm going to be talking about the New Jersey drone situation, a little bit about the UK, mainly sticking with the New Jersey drone thing since the last time I've talked about it. Pretty much like every day, every hour, there's new updates and coverage of this. So I'm going to go over mainly debunking some of the videos, and I know that might be kind of surprising to some people, but I think it's important to have a realistic analysis of what is actually up in the sky, what are we experiencing and what are we not experiencing, what do the videos that we have of the craft mean to us, what can we deduce from the videos that we have. So we're going to go over that and talk about what is likely to be man-made and what is not to be man-made, and what to look out for when making your own analysis, so that you don't just have to ask other people or have other people explain to you what is what, so that you can kind of have an idea of yourself, for yourself, of what to of how to analyze the videos.
Well, last night I was on the beach in Island State Park in Ocean County with the sheriff. He has been working it every single night. He's got his own tethered drones chronicling. One of his officers 2 nights ago saw 50 drones come in off the ocean right there. So we thought maybe they'll replicate it. They didn't, but we thought it was a possibility. Last night we had a number of other people there, including a commanding officer from the Coast Guard, who said that one of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones as they went through the water, followed right behind them. You know, and I said, what's the rules of engagement? I mean, you do it if you're fighting against a narco trafficker or something. And they said, we don't know, we don't have any. So I did reach out to the commanding officer at the Joint Base, which is also in my district, and talked to him, had a very good conversation, Colonel Anthony Smith, Joint Base Fort Dix McGuire, the 87th Air Wing, Air Base Wing today. And I said, I know you have the capability, you've put out press releases, to identify and bring down drones. Why can't you deploy them, at least to the ocean? Bring one of these down, find out who's doing it. They have the capability. They said, well, we don't have the authority, only within the parameters of our base. Well, there's a national interest here. Our jets fly over the ocean all the time for training, so that perimeter is larger. So I did write Secretary Lloyd Austin asking that capability that may be sitting in a closet somewhere, I know they use it all the time, but bring it out. And I'm not saying you got to share it with the sheriffs. It'd be nice. Just do it yourself in the interest of the American public. So I would ask if you would echo that request. I mean, DOD's got the capability, and maybe Homeland Security does as well. When we had a Zoom meeting with Secretary Mayorkas, our governor put it together, and I appreciated that. But I asked them, why can't we just track where they go to? Seemingly they're going out to sea, to something, a ship. We don't know for sure, but they can.
Okay, so that was pretty interesting. Oh, let me, I'm just going to close it out before it starts playing something else. So that was pretty interesting, but so I want to talk about a few things there with him talking about these allegedly being some sort of threat and to shoot them down, and what are the rules of engagement. And he's saying that he's spending all this time with military officials, and they're explaining all of this stuff to him, and he's spending time with the sheriff. They should really explain to this guy what the difference between the rules of engagement are for the military compared to law enforcement and police here in America, because that is something that has been debated over the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years, if not longer, of the use of force by police inside of the United States, because this may be surprising to a lot of people. It's not if you're familiar with the military or if you have friends that are military or family that are military, but the rules of engagement in a different country when you're at war is you can't just go around shooting people willy-nilly and blowing things up as much as you want. Like, you actually have to follow rules of engagement. That's the ROE, as he was talking about. You have to have certain criteria be met in order for you to use lethal force on people, i.e., if you're getting shot at, you can use force to defend yourself. But if you're not being shot at, then you can't use lethal force. Whereas police here in America actually have less rules of engagement than U.S. military. So law enforcement can kill people with less discretion and less rules of engagement than the military, which is really surprising to some people, that they have more authority to just go around blasting and killing civilians. But I just wanted to point that out, because he's saying he's talking to both a sheriff and some military guy about rules of engagement. They should probably explain that to him, because he obviously doesn't understand rules of engagement. The fact that he even said all of that stuff just shows that he doesn't understand rules of engagement. So I just had to point that out, that the guy is making himself look pretty dumb as far as the ROE that he's talking about. And that's not to say that we haven't tried to shoot them down. I mean, allegedly we have tried to shoot them down, and according to some documents with Russian or Soviet stuff, or even our own, or allegedly even with the UK and stuff like that, that we have tried to shoot them down, and we stopped trying to shoot them down because our pilots wouldn't come back when we tried to shoot them down. That might not be always the case, right? We talked about a shoot down with Lake Huron with the whole China balloon thing, and even then we had rules of engagement of what we could shoot and what we couldn't. Just shoot a random balloon up in the sky that wasn't doing anything. We actually had to present a reason for doing that. I know that may be surprising to some people. If they could have presented a reason for that sooner, they probably could have shot it down sooner. But you actually have to have a reason to use force in the military. I know that may be surprising again to some people, but so the guy was saying that that was some Iranian supercraft drone that was off the ocean sending in waves of drones to the New Jersey coastline to some secret facility. I read the FBI document, or public inquiry, asking the public to help with their investigation last time, and they said that it was some secret facility in New Jersey. Obviously is not secret anymore now that they've said it nationally. But if it was Iran, then why are they having flashing lights all over their stuff? And we'll get to that here in a little bit, but and same thing with the UK. If it's a threat and they're trying to go to war with us, why put flashing lights on their stuff for the past 2 weeks? Why keep on coming back to the same spot over and over? Like, when they talk about the fact that a craft has allegedly been coming back to the same Air Force base or this facility or that facility or whatever for 2 weeks straight with flashing lights on it, that sounds like the least stealthy operation I've ever heard of. Like, you really can't get much less stealthy than that, of going to the same spot with flashing lights over and over. It's almost like they're trying to get seen rather than be deceptive. It's almost the exact opposite concept, in my opinion. And if you were to put it up with the whole psychology of like a criminal returning to the scene of the crime, I kind of think that that's interesting, but I mean, not that they're performing a crime, but it's just why go back to the same spot over and over and over? There has to be some sort of psychological element to it. And for me, I believe that they're trying to show us that this is a act of exhibition and that they're trying to be seen. So the senator, one thing before I move on, that senator that we were just listening to was saying that it was in his district and he's friends with all these military people and that it's a threat and we need more budget and like all of that. Very coincidental that the guy who's there and friends with all these military people is saying that it's Iran and that they are going to need more money. Obviously that's going to be what's coming next. But nobody's been hurt in the UK. Nobody's been hurt in New Jersey. I think last time I talked about how it had blocked a medevac flight. Now that's starting to get a little bit more severe, blocking medical evacuation. But I'm not sure that the drones or whatever they are was doing that on purpose. So, yeah, we'll try to keep it moving here. But I'm just giving food for thought here. We're going to move on to the White House responding to that senator now, because this all happened in like the last 24 hours. I was going to put out a video last night, but as I'm recording it, stuff is happening. So there wasn't really any point in dropping it last night when we had all this White House stuff happening today. So let's hear what the White House has to say about it now.
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time, we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but, at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
Yeah, so White House, this might actually be one of the second White House briefings that they had, but in both of them they said that it wasn't Iran, it wasn't American military drones, which is interesting. So that kind of does rule out a lot. But here's the thing about them saying that it's not American military, is that these special access programs, SAPs, are not accountable underneath the Pentagon or the government. Like the White House secretaries or maybe even the president himself, a lot of the people in the executive branch would not know, or any of the branches really, any of the elected people wouldn't know about these special access programs and that these black budget programs, none of them would be in the know. So it still could be U.S. stuff, in my opinion. Why are we having such extensive operations on our own land without telling our people? I don't know. It seems like a recipe for disaster, but I'm just pointing out that it could be American stuff. We just don't know, and they don't know. They're not in the know about it. So we'll go over that more here in a little bit, of why I think that the possibility that some of this stuff could be American military will make sense, or man-made. I don't know if it's necessarily American, but most likely American, and that it's just not telling the FBI. Like, the CIA is pretty big in the East Coast, and if it was the CIA and they're not telling the FBI, that would make sense why none of them know it. And then it's a need to know basis, so none of these people for these press conferences would know it either. And it has like FAA lights on it. Seems like it's American craft or man-made, like I said. Where I kind of, this gets a little bit muddled or hard to discern, is that a lot of people were saying that they had seen orbs in the sky, and one of the videos I'll play is like a collection of orbs in the sky that were allegedly coming out of the water. And so I also put this theory out there of what we could be looking at here, that there was strange activity that occurred in the sky over these locations, possibly for multiple days, possibly out in the ocean. Some boat could have been followed or whatever, like that guy was saying. Once again, that didn't sound super dangerous or violent to me. Sound like they were kind of just getting a light show. Nobody was really hurt. They might have been freaked out, but nobody was really hurt. But if there was strange phenomenon going on, that may be the reason that all these other American craft are being seen, because people are seeing AC-130, C-7, like giant flying warehouse type of stuff, like giant planes that are logistic planes that are moving around there, as well as some combat craft like F-16s. And if there was stuff in the sky, it would make sense that we would go and send stuff to investigate it. So all these people filming stuff in the sky thinking that they're UFOs, but they're actually American craft. These American things, may be studying whatever else is going on there. So that's more what I think is going on. Is we have a lot of assets in the sky studying something that's not ours. That's what I think is going on. So I'm gonna start with like one of the bigger ones first, that people were talking about, and that this ball with an X on it, and people were comparing it to the Bible and all sorts of other stuff. And you can see here that it's attached to wires on a telephone line or power line. So that's all that is a ball that's involved in regulating the power going through the lines. It's a visibility marker on a power line. So that one's been debunked. People were talking about a giant orb in the sky with an X, and that it's end times, and that it's the Bible, and it ended up just being a visibility ball on a power line. So we'll move on from that one and go to this one right here. I'm gonna turn on the sound.
What is this, dude? He's driving home. This thing is freaking huge.
Okay, so some of you guys might notice I rewinded it there. If you go back and listen, and you probably are going to need headphones or some really good hearing, but you can hear the turbines in that, and that's why I went in and rewinded it. And you can see all the FAA lights, like right here. This is so obviously a plane. Huge drone with multiple lights recorded flying over New Jersey. This is one of these transport aircraft that are being seen. And I will say that it's strange to have a lot of transport aircraft in the area, especially right after all of this stuff. But I'm going to play a video towards the end that you can compare engine noises and lights and looks. And this is just so obviously a plane, guys. Like, you can hear the turbine engine, you can see the lights on it. So I'm going to move on. But like I said, this is helping people be able to analyze things for themselves. of these videos of what to look for and what not to look for. So anytime you have the fuselage and lights on the plane and the tail like that, I mean, obviously a plane, but even the sound, you can hear the turbine. So we'll move on to another one here.
Marmora, New Jersey. Here they are. And they do sound like drones. Yo, look, looks like a triangle. Look. It looks like a fucking triangle. Go. But here they are. They look like a fucking triangle. They look like a triangle. No way. And an F-16 just flew over. No way. They look like triangles.
Okay, so I paused it, and I just gotta say, planes look like triangles. So that's not the plane that he was looking at, but it's a kind of like it. But planes look like triangles. So them saying that it looks like a triangle isn't really that shocking. But again, this is the exact same shape as the one that we just saw. And if you've ever seen transport aircraft like that, I live in an area with so much air traffic, it's ridiculous. Between Austin and San Antonio, those two cities have so much air traffic, and both have a lot of military bases. So I see attack helicopters, training jets, fighter jets, logistic jets, training Cessna propeller planes, like whatever you think of. Like, I've seen it. And so I guess that's why I can identify aircraft better than some. I mean, obviously some people are better than me. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just saying that these things, some of these things are very obviously aircraft. And we need to not waste our time with that. Like, some of these have tens of thousands of likes. Or, well, this one's only got 9,000. Darn, one of them was removed. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, I'm going to move on. This is one of the ones that may actually be something. This is not a plane, because these are stationary. So let's watch for a second. I don't think there's much audio, but I'm going to turn off the mic just in case. Okay, so there we go. 5 or 6 lights hovering in the sky from a distance, pretty far out, not matching any plane stuff, not matching Starlink. That's closer to a quote-unquote drone or UFO sighting of something very unexplained in the sky. Helicopters would not be just sitting there like that. You'd probably see movement. A plane, you'd definitely see movement. Drones, they could hover, not moving. I mean, those could easily be drones. So yeah, that's one of the ones that like actually is more unexplainable. So this one unfortunately was removed. Based on the comments, it was like one of the drones that was actually rotating on an XY axis. It's unfortunate they removed it. It's frustrating. As well as this one. Oh, it's the same one. Okay. Well, so I'll try to find that one again sometime and post it. But it was basically like an under view of a drone. I mean, it was clearly a man-made drone, and I guess that's why they removed it. It says it was an R2, which, okay, I wish I would have posted a picture of an R2 drone. But so I'm gonna turn off the mic again so that we can hear this video. This is one of the more interesting ones, if I remember correctly.
Oh my god, here we go. Here it is. Are you freaking kidding me right now? What is that?